Well, it is that time again, everybody. Hope you are doing well. My name is BirdDog John, and I am back in action.
In those scenarios,
Yep.
it's good to neuralize the cameras. You guys know that best.
Very straightforward. Plug it in, go to the web UI, link the source, walk away. You know, like super simple. I keep looking over at the chat, and I keep seeing you are full of it. Tasty, spicy meat snacks. Covered in flavor. I mean, you can't go wrong. So what's going on? We've got a handful of folks here in the chat, and I really appreciate that. What's up, mate? Hey, Warren, how are you? Appreciate it. Hey, Robbie, how's it going, man? We were just talking about you. What's going on, Tom? Ahoy. How is it going? What's going on, Go Web? Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with us again today. Appreciate that. Feel like I'm in this video more than anyone but John. It's true, NetApp. You are, I'm going to cut this up and put this in the next intro. What's happening, everybody? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Whoa, that was weird. Okay, so hopefully this is working. I'm going to wait. Lots of malfunctions here this morning, so we're going to wait. All right, this is good. So having malfunctions. First malfunction is, I think this shot is actually off center, so let's fix that. Oh no, this says it's center, so that's strange. Okay, let's go over to StreamYard and double check that real quick. Okay, yeah, all right, that looks fine. Second malfunction is my TelScript NDI teleprompter is not showing up on the network, and so we're gonna have to troubleshoot that. Probably just a network issue, but it's just giving me a green screen right now, so that's exciting. I can't see it anywhere on my network. And it was working last week when I moved everything over to this specific VLAN. So it appears to not be coming online. And I'm not too sure what the dealio is there. Third malfunction is that the audio is yet again not being outputted of vMix. So I couldn't hear any of the video audio. And of course, you don't find that out until you play a video. And then that sucks because we have guests in the office today. The U.S. sales team has rolled up, with the exception of Jake, who's technically U.S. sales, but not really because he's like everything cloud. Anyways, so the U.S. sales team is here, minus Jake, and they are doing some sales training and just getting together because we've brought on a couple of new guys to give us a hand with sales. And they are downstairs meeting right now, but right up until the show, basically 20 minutes before the show started, I was visiting with them. So, and discussing business and all of that. Business. It's my best Muppets Christmas Carol Sam the Eagle impression. So there we go. That's a very specific reference. Should you be so interested. So I have no idea other than the way that this sounds. It sounds good here. Now, so this earpiece is doing nothing. I checked to see if the earpiece was even working, and lo and behold, it is, because I can play sound from the computer. vMix is set to output to the standard outputs of this machine, but I got nothing. So fantastic. Good times, great oldies. And of course, if you change the outputs in vMix, then it requires a restart. So I kind of am tempted to restart it right now, but maybe we'll wait. Now, somebody posted, quote, "Dude, play the cloud video." That was posted 10 hours ago. And I don't have that loaded into vMix, and so I'll do you a solid and switch over to that account and get that video. Yoink. And then, no, let's get out of here. This is my own account. It's garbage. So I will get that video. I have not seen it yet, and so we will download, probably mess up my stream because I'm downloading this video. How big is it? Oh, and there's a copyright protection content found, but the owner allows the content to be used on YouTube. So there you go. Oh, good. And then YouTube just died. So I'm having DNS issues. It's always DNS, by the way. If there's ever any question, it's either DNS or MDNS. So I'm trying to download this video from the page in which I am an administrator, and it just timed out. So let's try that again. Download. Thinking. But I'm definitely having DNS issues on this machine now that I belong to two separate VLANs. I don't know if I told you guys this on Thursday or not, but I took my fiber card and maybe it was on Thursday I did this. Yeah, this thing keeps crapping out. I took the fiber card that was in that Echo Express Thunderbolt box that I had, and maybe this will work. I took that PCIe card and I put it inside the video chassis. I bet you any money I know who made this comment on Facebook, by the way. Is it the one and only Jake? Or is it... I'm jumping over to Facebook. Give me a second. Oh, it's Josh. Oh, what's going on, Josh? Better watch what I say. Well, I will make every effort to download this video, but I did not see this go live overnight. So there you go. That's the reality. So we'll try and download the video. It is 5 minutes? Oh, geez. Looks like it is BirdDog Jake actually explaining the video. So we'll have to do a watch party or something. But it's thinking about it. It might time out again. That would be crappy if it did. But all good, all good. Greetings from the UK. What's going on, LA12? Thanks for hanging out with us. Really appreciate that. What's going on, MTash? I'm waiting for that QR code. Oh, yeah. As I said earlier, I am definitely behind the ball this morning. My apologies, everybody. Let's go ahead and view that in Google Sheets and then put this up here. Okay, we are currently accepting responses for the "Where are you? Where in the world?" I should totally download a little snippet of the Carmen Sandiego rockapella. "Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego" theme song for this segment of the show. That would be a blast from the past. Good stuff, guys. So let's do this properly. And it looks like screen capture is running, but it's not actually capturing the second screen, which was turned on after screen capture started. So it's just the way that the program works. But if screen capture turns on right when you load the computer, but your second monitor isn't on. So for example, my computer is on, or my TV that's here off to my side. And I don't even have that camera shot anymore because I was setting up for potential interviews. Oh, here we go. So this shot. Oh, crap. Automation. All right, 1 second. Let me fix something here. There we go. Okay. So this TV shot, this TV is on an automatic timer, which is associated with my office connectivity stuff. And so when I can give the powers that be a service that rhymes with oogle a command, and she'll turn the TV on for me. It's kind of nice. I don't really care about the whole privacy thing in this office, so we're good. But the TV is on a timer because I don't really want it on when I'm not doing a show, unless I'm testing something, and then I can manually turn it on. But for the most part, it turns on at about 10 o'clock, and it turns off at about 2 in the afternoon on Tuesday, Thursdays, and then it stays off. Just to preserve it a little bit. It doesn't need to run, so I don't bother running it. But did this switch back automatically? Hold the phone. What on earth? Okay, so the automation is, oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. I turned the wrong one off. It's this one that has the trigger. Boom goes the dynamite. Okay, let's try this again. So this TV is the one I'm talking about. It's on an automatic timer. And it turns on and off on its own. Well, this computer runs pretty much all the time because we use it for testing all week long. And so when the computer runs and the screen turns off, I reboot the computer this morning, thinking that that would be a good idea. I reboot this computer this morning. Of course, I have now audio malfunctions. And that screen wasn't on, but Screen Capture is an app that is in the startup folder. So you go to run, then shell, semicolon, startup. You put apps in there, they'll automatically start when Windows turns on. So I put Screen Capture in there because I use it all the time. Same with NDI Webcam, same with a few other services that you want. In particular, for example, the thing that runs the timer on the starting screen is a separate program called Snaz, and that just outputs the timer to a text file. Then you can bring that text file in vMix and use it however you like, format it, do whatever you want. But then I can change the time to whatever I need. So maybe I need an extra, 5 minutes or something like that. I can quickly just change the time in the program. And vMix, let me put this up real quick. vMix, so vMix will, put the time up. And I just have it on that screen in that location, and it's always the same size, it's always the same font, and it's live, right? So pretty easy. The music's on. So we'll go ahead and kill that. Sorry about that. See, here's the consequence of not being able to hear this, right? So but the music plays indefinitely too. Oh, the VLC playlist is also in that startup folder. So when the computer turns on, all that stuff that I have to turn on anyways gets started. But now the automation, because I'm not monitoring the show, now the automation is all messed up. So let's do something here. Two things. The first is I want the audio outputs. Maybe I could show this. So I'll show this before I show the map. So here are the settings for vMix, and I could, wow, that's really poor quality. So here, headphone output, I know it's a cardinal sin to have it as the default Windows playback device, and perhaps that is my problem. So instead, I want to output this through, the problem is I don't actually quite know which driver it is, because as you can see, I've got several. So system output, oh, this would be why, actually. Let's try this. So the default got changed to something else. I wonder if I change on the Windows side, if it would do it live in my earpiece. No, it does not. So it got changed here to, oh my gosh, Windows, stop. What is wrong with you? So, all right. Good golly, man. I really detest this Windows trying to be smarter than it is. Welcome to Windows 11, everybody. I'm just not comfortable with it yet, but there you go. So I had a Blackmagic Decklink Mini in here. I took it out, but I have a virtual cable, which is not the one that I want. I want this one, I believe, but I've switched it and choose where to play sound. So that's the one that I want to use. But I didn't change it in the headphones because you have to restart vMix, right? So let's do that. Let's restart vMix. I'm just going to jump over. Now the next question is, did that video download? Nope, it sure didn't. That's annoying. Thanks for nothing, YouTube. So I'm definitely having a DNS error with YouTube trying to navigate both of these. Let's try this again. Trying to navigate two VLANs. One of them doesn't have internet, so I'm not too sure why it's defaulting over, but there you go. So let's go to my videos, because I'd love to just load this in. You guys could watch it, and I could get this all squared away. It's not downloading. Not cool, man. Not cool. All right, I will. Oh, hey, it's downloading now. Boom, done. Okay, cool. So let's go to over here, and I got to join StreamYard from this machine. And I'll put the video inside StreamYard so that I can turn off vMix and you guys can actually have something to watch. So I'm going to enter the studio, John 2. The QR code in the corner is actually too small for my phone, a Samsung S22 Ultra. I can't read it. It's just a little too fuzzy. It sounds like you need to upgrade your phone. Just kidding. Just kidding. We could, I don't know if I can make it this bigger actually, because that's a StreamYard thing. But I could definitely provide a bigger one through vMix, like a full screen QR code. That would get you. So let's add a video clip in the downloads folder, cloud update. Go ahead and upload that. And then, all right, we're uploading, processing the video. All right, now I'm going to leave there. Don't need to be in there anymore. I'm going to close down these items because I don't need this. Okay, this video is, I don't know if, all right, you know what? I'm going to run a short video because I actually want to talk you through the cloud one. I want to listen with you, but also have the ability to talk. So I'm going to throw up Matrix and then I'll be right back. Okay, so evidently I could talk to you if I showed you that on StreamYard. I've just forgotten over the ages, but user error. What's going on, Corey? What's happening? Dude, there's a lot of user error going on today. Good stuff. It's not just you guys. Hey, greetings from Mexico. Please support with the shipment of X120 and pod. Our projects have to continue and we cannot continue working for so long. Please do something about it. Hello, David. So the X120 and pod won't launch until they're ready and stable. If they were to launch and they weren't, I'm sure we would hear something about that. So the goal is we don't launch things now until they're absolutely ready to go. And we've learned our lesson, we should say, or at least gotten burned enough to know that if you touch the oven, it will be hot. So we are definitely trying. We're not delaying it because we don't want people to have it. We're delaying it because we want to make sure that it's absolutely ready to go. So X120 is the current project underway. I know that they're working on pod. I don't know where they are in that project because some of the things that we found out with Play also coincide with the things with pod. So we have to make sure that they're rock solid before we put them in your hands. If you have projects that are underway and like need solutions, I would reach out to the sales team to see what other options there are, but those products are not live yet. So not 100% sure. Here at Support, I can't promise you anything because I'm not even working on those products. And every week we do go back to the engineering team and say, hey, it's still a really big deal that we get these things out sooner rather than later. They are aware of that. They know that. Actually, the whole BirdDog organization is aware. But yeah, we definitely are trying to get through to that. But they won't launch them until they're ready. And so if they're not launched, that definitely means they're not ready. So read that. That is the flat out truth. That's what it is. Hey, that was me on Facebook with the QR code comment. I'm trying on YouTube to see if it's any better. Yep. It works better on YouTube. Facebook seems to scale the video, and that QR code loses a bit of resolution on that platform. Fascinating. It shouldn't. Um, let me see. I'm supposed to be streaming in 1080p, right? Out of StreamYard over to all of these platforms. But I have noticed, and I also noticed on, was it last week? My audio was louder last week, but it wasn't great in terms of like well, maybe I'm getting my streams mixed up, because I know that I also watched a couple of churches that were broadcasting on Sunday, and some of their audios were peaking as well. So anyway, so yeah, we're trying to like hone this in. I do listen to the show through my phone, and that sounds nice and clean this week, so that's good news. Yeah, that's good news. All right, let me jump back to the chat real quick. Hey, thanks for the X120 update. Getting bored waiting, but I agree. It's better that it's solid functionality wise. You know, in the past, we would launch things when we genuinely thought they were ready, but we hadn't had the time to really like rigorously test them. And so I think that's where we're at, is we're a little gun shy because we want to launch them, but we have a hard time launching things that we haven't, like, that we're promoting, but we haven't been able to spend the adequate time making sure that it's just rock solid. So that's what they're up to. I know that they're working like crazy. I know that there are some X120s at IBC. So if you're going to be over in Amsterdam this weekend, you might see one or two or four or five somewhere around the institution. So go ahead and check those out. They are in the wild. Oh, man. Not only is my creamer doing something weird on the surface here, I also just spilt it on myself. 2 shout outs, by the way. Today's show is not brought to you by dual sponsors. First, Ember Mugs. Keep your coffee hot and your creamer curdled. And our secondary non-sponsor, not sponsored by Tim Hortons Coffee. What is Tim Hortons' slogan? Do they even have one? Or did they just do away with it? So shout out to BirdDog Jess, who went to Timmy's and ordered coffee for us and for the support staff and the sales guys, and brought it in like a champ. And even after Tim Hortons messed up the order, I guess, she stuck it out and brought it all in. So shout out to Jess for making the Tim Hortons dreams come true. There does not appear to be a Tim Hortons logo. I thought there was at one point. Anyways, so our second sponsor, not sponsor, is Tim Hortons Coffee. I don't know. There's nothing else to say. It's really good though. It's strange because I make Tim Hortons coffee here in the office, but this tastes definitely different than what, and my brain keeps thinking it's going to be that same taste because it's in the same mug that I drink every single day. But this is genuine like coffee from Tim Hortons, and yeah, it's really good. So good stuff. Hey, greetings from Chicago. Fritz, you're back in Chicago. Well done. Hopefully you were somewhere recently, right? Previous show? Hey, I'm looking at the Magewell Director Mini launch. Would pair well with the X120. Yes, I did see the Magewell Mini launch. Very interesting development. I need to run a video because, okay, so I restarted the audio and I don't hear it coming back from vMix. So let's run a video and I will tell you if this worked or not. Let's just 2 seconds. Here we go. Nope, no audio. Fantastic. Let's make sure. I don't like this. I don't like this. I think it's the least of several evils. We'll put it that way. But the Realtek digital audio. Why are you outputting there? I didn't tell you to output there. Interesting. Oh, look at that. This unit is not plugged in. Okay, so audio outputs. It's supposed to be this one, evidently. All right. This should be a very fast reboot. So let's do that and see if we can. What's the shortest video I have? Open gear. 35 seconds. Here we go. And we're back. So now the question is, in vMix, will I hear? So I see the audio in coming out of vMix into the driver, but will I see it and hear it when I play a video? So that's now we're going to play a video inside vMix, like a commercial, and see what happens. Nothing. It's really annoying. Really annoying. I double check, make sure that this video, yep, it's sending. So, all right. All right, vMix experts, what am I missing here? I've changed, let's go back to change system sound settings. Realtek digital audio. Maybe that's not the right one. I don't know. Outputs 1 through 4. I hear myself now. Delayed, but I hear myself. Did that screw up something on the stream? Go back to live. Okay, so nothing screwed up in the stream other than the fact that I'm hearing double, which is super duper annoying. Whoa. And that's good and loud on YouTube. Okay. Eureka. So settings inside vMix. Audio outputs. And then 1 through 4. Say okay. For crying out loud. I hate that. I mean, I understand why you have to restart vMix every time, but it's really annoying. So, BRB. I'm not going to play the full video this time. Okay. So I can still hear myself in my earpiece, even though my microphone is muted. Also annoying. But at least my audio's here. So now if I play a video, I should be able to hear this. Yes, it's definitely there. All right. So now I need to mute my microphone's audio in my earpiece, but keep everything else. Atlanta, Houston, Boston, you name it. Supposed to be in DC this week, but weather issues got flights canceled. We'll reschedule. Next week we'll be in Cleveland. By the way, the new Play firmware looks really solid. Yep, RC5. Love the new features. SRT, Cloud Connect, custom splash screens. The splash screen thing has been a long time coming. I, too, am very excited about that. Because you have no idea how long it is that we've been asking for that feature, and they got it done. So, love it. I love it. Okay, so maybe there... Nope, it's not here. So when I go to the audio settings for my microphone channel, the audio headphone thing is off. And yet, it's still playing in my headphones. What is up with that? Somebody help me out. What is going on? Why am I still hearing it after I muted that headphone channel? What if I... Nope. Still here. Even if I mute it on the channel mix, it still plays the audio output. I don't understand. Shouldn't turning off the headphone option turn off the headphone sound for that channel? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I just don't, maybe I don't get it. Let's see if there are any other audio channels that are playing that maybe that's why I'm hearing it. Negative. Maybe it's an audio channel on the camera. Audio settings for this. So if I mute the settings for the studio channel, doesn't change anything, which is the only video channel that has the audio button on right now. So, yeah, this is a separate sound. Man, what the heck could that be? Hey, let's check out the map while we're out of here. Hey, folks, this is pretty neat.
How neat is that?
It's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat.
Look at everybody checking in all over the world here. A handful of people in the U.S. Angus is not around because he would be checking in from Edmonton. My lone wolf over in the UK, and my friend in South Africa. So that's always fun to have all you guys. And then, of course, 2 night owls in Perth and Sydney, Melbourne. Yeah, my 2 night owls in Australia. Welcome to the show. You guys are always a welcome sight here at BirdDog. And like I had mentioned earlier, is this CJ? Hold the phone. CJ? Are you the Melbourne check-in? It sounds like you have your master output on vMix is tied to your ear headphones. Would have to see your audio output settings. Somebody's checking in from Brazil. What is going on? Hey, scan that QR code on YouTube, and it will take you to a 2-question survey saying what country and what's the closest city to you, and it will put a pin on the map that we are observing right now. Greetings from Florida. What's going on, Florida? Eric, good to see you. Thanks for showing up at the show. Always a pleasure. Always fun to have new faces and familiar faces on the show. I won't say old. If I shave my beard really close, you can't really see the gray hair. Oh, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Okay, so CJ is a bit of a vMix master. So let's go ahead and show him the audio output settings and see what he thinks. So CJ, yoink, we're going to put these over here for you to observe. Is it that I have the master output set to something? Maybe I should put this on none. And then headphones. Maybe I should have a separate mix for the headphones so that it's always the same thing every time. But then no, because if you have a separate mix, then that kind of defeats the purpose of monitoring the show. So this is my USB interface that the headphones are actually plugged into. They're not going out. I'm not using channels 1 through 4 as an output here. I'm using the headphone jack, but you have to set this to out on this unit in order for it to hear. Obviously, the audio has to come back to the Behringer in order to play it. So let's jump over to Mr. CJ and see what he thinks. Do BirdDog cameras come with an IR remote? The older ones used to. I think they all still do. Why would you want an IR remote? That's a very interesting question, because for all of the functionality about it, the IR remote is probably the least intuitive. But everybody has their use case, right? And so I won't fault you for that. I was just curious as to why you might want one, Mr. Eric. But I believe most of them do. The latest ones might not, like the P110-120 may not have one. So, okay, so CJ, wait, where's my mouse? Okay. So since it's on the default output, whatever your speaker icon in Windows is going to play that in your headphones. So since it's on the default output, whatever your speaker icon in Windows is going to play that in your headphones. Fritz says 120 and 110 does come with a remote. There you go. I agree. Asking for a potential client. Oh, gotcha. Okay, well, Fritz can confirm 110, 120 does. I know that the P4K does. I know the P200 does. The 240, I haven't actually seen a new one in the box for the 240 yet, but I'm pretty sure it does. Hey, I have a user using it. What is your user using the IR remote for? Like general operation or just getting to the OSD? Because that's about all it's worth. Hey, Facebook user, hello. Let's actually jump over to Facebook and find out who this is, so I can properly say it. It's Joe DeMax. Oh my goodness. The legend. My goodness. If you guys know who Joe DeMax is, that's a big name right there. What's going on, Joe? The 240 does come with one. Thanks. And so you will hear master audio essentially. So I should turn the master output off and just the headphone option to my Behringer, is what you're saying. If I'm hearing you correctly. So this is configured as desired? Also, all these other submixes, how... Well, anyways, I'll get into that another day. Okay, so I am going to apply these changes. Default bus for new inputs. All right. Let's quickly jump to another commercial so that I can set this up and see if it fixes things. So let's do, what haven't I shown here? Some of these. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK on this. It's going to say, hey, do you want to restart vMix? And I will say yes as soon as I fire a video inside. Okay, so this is... let's go here, actually. Okay, here we go. Ready? Let's see how fast I can do this. I'll be right back, guys. All right, and I'm back. And I'm back. Okay, so I should pay attention now. The trick is, so I've changed the audio outputs. Now the trick is, I can't hear myself. It's not doubling. Thank you, CJ. Now will I hear videos? I absolutely do. CJ for the win, everybody. CJ. This is why we pay CJ the big bucks around here, folks, because he's in the know. So, fun fact about CJ is he now lives in Melbourne. He used to live in Austin, as I believe, as I recall. But he got kind of bored, I guess, and decided to move over to the Melbourne district. And so he is doing some good work over at HQ. But he's no longer on U.S. sales, which is sad because that means we see him a whole lot less. And him and I shared a common love for the candy nerds. So now that I see him less, we have, I think it was NAB 2022 where we bought out all of the nerds from the vending machine, at least at the one closest to us. So yeah, we found something in common, some common ground between CJ and I, our addiction to sugar. I usually route what I want to hear in my monitor headphones to channel A and B in vMix, and that way I can select exactly what I want to hear. Okay, that's really good information. All well and good here. I had the 404 HD2, but I used the ISO driver. Okay. Well, I need to like dig into it a bit. Apparently, this is the one element that I haven't spent enough time really getting into. So perfect. Thanks, Fritz. So they use it for Zoom and don't have any easier control for it with a UI, so it's easy for them to pan, tilt, and tweak. Okay, well, again, like I said, there are use cases, and I can understand why people would would do that. But anyways, good stuff. I guess that makes sense. It's unfortunate because it's pretty unintuitive to use the IR remote compared to the other options that are out there, but those other options take integration and, some level of commitment. So to be fair, a lot of people understand the remote left, right, up, down, zoom in, zoom out buttons, right? So it might be easier. Let's put it that way. Nerd clusters are life. So do they have them in Australia? Have you found them? Or have you converted over to some other candy that I'm unaware of and I need to come visit, and you can enlighten me on how they do sugar in Australia? Hey, about last Friday's football stream that I wanted to get back to you about using our new M4350. That's not a typo, everybody. A switch at the football field is NDI and Dante sources, and the M4250 is a remote control room with a TriCaster, TC1 and 3 play. The switches worked great as designed, I think, although we streamed as usual to only one streaming service, who then streamed it into other services, kind of like StreamYard. Our stream had to be restarted 32 times throughout the game. Both halves. The last successful stream did run for 54 minutes. And the strange thing that kept happening before I had to shut down and restart the TriCaster was all 4 NDI video sources, 2 BirdDog Minis and 2 P200s, would freeze and become uncontrollable at the time on the TriCaster only. On the 3 play, the 2 mini videos lost video, but the 2 PTZs kept showing live video. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so what are your initial what do you think is going on here? Definitely sounds network related. To me, like absolutely sounds. If you're restarting it that much and all of your sources are freezing up, that's definitely a network related item. Are you TCP or multicast? Nerd clusters, they are here, which is why I didn't immediately turn around and leave. Oh, that's great. Facebook, where are you here? Hey, will there be firmware updates in the future for BirdDog PTZs to be compatible with Panasonic control protocol? I'm assuming you mean Panasonic Visca IP. I don't think that's on the roadmap. If I were guessing, I would say they're going to stick with Sony because they're Sony lenses. So I suspect that the Panasonic control protocol is not going to be implemented. You don't have to quote me. If we do implement it, great. But it does not appear that that's on the current roadmap. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know of that being a priority at this time. I haven't heard of that ever being brought up. So yesterday I got a hold of TriCaster Support. I sent them support log files for both TC1 and 3Play. They're still reviewing the logs, but I sent an email to me yesterday afternoon, so good turnaround, saying that the following. One thing that popped up multiple times was BirdDog yada yada cam 2 at this address. Is it possible to confirm that the camera is running on the latest firmware version? We've had issues with BirdDog cameras in the past causing issues with our TriCasters unless they're updated. If you remove this camera from the workflow, does the issue still remain? We're running TCP. I've checked and it and my flock are running 9.4. What do you think? All of a sudden losing all 4 NDI sources at the same time every time. So this is a great question. This is a good exercise for my brain. So TriCaster is saying, okay, I would agree. There have been times where TriCaster's protocol. What on earth? I'm gonna turn off the Telscript screen so that I can see the lens. Okay, so I have. I know that in the past, when the BirdDog cameras were not updated, the TriCaster didn't run correctly. Now, to point fingers a little bit, they say you need to update the cameras in order for the TriCaster to work correctly. What they don't say is we've kind of gone back and forth where they update and then we update and then they update and then we update. And it's kind of this weird back and forth with all third-party manufacturers. But when you come out with a new protocol, so like NDI 5 came out and then a year and a half later it gets implemented, right? Well, especially if you have a large fleet, it's kind of a trick to do that. But with what it sounds like to me is the TCP round trip time is taking too long, and so it may be flooding your network or causing a bit of a bottleneck for the retransmit. If you're running 4350s or 4250s with the NDI 5 protocol, you can switch the cameras over to multicast, and that you may see a mass increase in performance because instead of the cameras shooting the packets over to the destination receiver, it puts it up to the network to make that happen. And so I would suggest switching off of TCP. In the NDI 5 profile, it's already set to do multicast. Now that's called preferred method, right? So inside the cameras, change those to transmit method multicast, and then allow the network to send. Now TriCaster, you could set it up in Access Manager to accept multicast packets, but it doesn't really matter at that end. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. So the first thing you could test is going to multicast because your infrastructure is already set up for that. You don't have to customize anything on the switches. It should be ready to go on the latest firmware for the 4350s, 4250s. The multicast stuff is already pre-configured in the NDI 5 profile. So you can switch your cameras over to multicast, leave everything else on the protocol side. Those numbers that appear in the prefix, leave all that, and then run it and see how it goes. Restart your devices, okay? Power cycle if you can. But do that, hit apply, power cycle. And then watch what happens to like over long periods of time. Because if you switch over to multicast, what multicast is doing is it's requiring the network to handle the trafficking of the data. Now you might say, well, John, the network always does that, but not in the way that you think it does. It will spend time inquiring as to where the path is, but it really leaves it up to the packets to do the majority of the work. Whereas in multicast, the switches take over and they traffic the information. It's actually far more efficient. But you have to know how to configure a multicast network in order to have that. Netgear and the team over at avdesigns@netgear.com have done you a massive favor and already pre-configured it for you for baseline multicast on NDI. So that might be the first thing you try and see if it's a round trip. Because you said you're going to a remote location on another network in another portion of the building or campus. And if that's the case, you're relying on everything working seamlessly across the entire infrastructure. And then you're trying to get the endpoints to do the communication. So definitely give the multicast stuff a try and see if that lightens the requirements between those two. Now, you are going across another set of switches, right? Unify or Meraki or something like that. And so if you're going off into third parties and not directly, see, it would be different if you were going fiber into Unify, but those fiber ports were all trunks because the trunks don't actually do any sort of scanning. But if it's going into other switches and they're being processed and you're not going from 4350 to 4250 directly, then the multicast thing might not work because Unify doesn't really do multicast very well. Same network, Ruckus. Oh, okay. Well, Ruckus might be able to do it. So just put multicast on the cameras, also the minis. Yeah, technically you would do both. Yeah, Fritz says, what about RUDP? They've had good results with RUDP. RUDP is a possibility, but you need to be running the latest firmware in order to do that right. Like to do that to the maximum potential. Personally, if I was going to pick between unicast and multicast, I would say TCP or multicast as kind of the two camps. What I can't promise is, well, anyway, maybe I won't go there. But yeah, if I was going to do a unicast protocol, I would stick with TCP because of the actual complete round trip time stability of TCP, the nature of TCP. But RUDP, I'm not 100% convinced, but if you've had good results, then by all means give that a try. Yeah, give that a try, I guess. I just don't, okay, so in my network, I've got things like I've got either like a unicast setup or it's multicast. So that's where I camp out. RUDP is okay, but there are some, I don't know. I'm not convinced yet. And I think that's more of an NDI 5 thing than it is. Like they launched the protocol, but they didn't really do much about explaining it or talking tech about it. They just kind of threw it out there like, here's another option. And then Dr. Cross was like, all right, guys, I'm out. See ya. So I was like, wait a minute. What's going on here? So I don't know. I just haven't had a chance to really like rigorously test it myself to be convinced that that's the way to do it. I have used it in the studio, but now it's multicast all the way through. And it's a separate VLAN. So, there's that too. Back to the chat. Let's get over here and close this window. Okay, so yes, so with the cameras, yeah, you go into the camera web UI and you change the protocol to multicast, and then hit apply and then reboot the camera. Do a full reboot on it so that it comes up, because it doesn't start outputting multicast packets until it does the boot up cycle. Hey, can you help me choose a best playlist software with? I'm assuming that's automation. What do you want to do with it? I mean, be a little more specific. What are your thoughts on that? Also, we had, hey, do you have a suggestion for a test video source for 4K 60 NDI HX? I'm using a gamer laptop. So you want to receive that video? There are multiple ways of doing this for testing this. Out of the gates, you can set up VLC to be an NDI output, and then you load a 4K 60 video in there and play it. and it would output NDI onto the network that it's on, and then you can view it on your gaming laptop. The other way is you could get a video switcher that outputs NDI. So vMix is a great program for that. That's, and it'll well, it depends on the one that you have. Probably the cheapest and the freest option. The way that I test it is I do use VLC. Now, be careful with VLC at 4K 60 because it's a lot of data and it's a fair bit for VLC to do. So you need to verify that it's not, if you see drop frames or something, you need to verify that it's not VLC output, But that's a free option, I guess, is maybe what we're looking at. Oh, I'm sorry. And then if you want to do HX, then you use NDI Bridge on that source, and it'll convert it to HX. That is how. Yeah, I didn't finish that thought. Thank you, Fritz. So you can NDI Bridge from NDI Tools, right? NDI.TV/tools can take basically all your sources that come into a computer and convert them over to HX, or it can just transcode them, make a secondary source, or it can go the other way. I believe it can go from HX to full, but I don't know why you'd want to do that, unless you need to decode on a BirdDog device. So, but Bridge can take full NDI sources and produce HX ones. That's actually how we test HX on Play and a few other things, is we run Bridge, and that outputs all of my sources that are coming into my studio machine out as HX, and then it's all good. Thankfully, going from full NDI to HX is very limit. Like it's not super taxing on. Yeah, it's not super taxing on the processor to do that because it's very low bit rate. So. Okay, so vMix or VLC? Thank you. Oh, you are very welcome. Thanks for coming along to the party. Just send the video. This is all that came through in StreamYard, but the remainder of your comment is over on Facebook. So there you go. CJ, why are you awake again? Don't you got to work in the morning? What's the story there? Angus has arrived, everybody. The party can begin. Busy again all this week. Have a good one. You too, Angus. Always a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by. Like I said, actually today, it's 12 o'clock now, or it's 1 minute to 12. So we've got the U.S. sales team in the office, and they're hanging out with us here for the day, and today and tomorrow. So it's nice to have those guys, some new faces. So I'm telling you, these support guys that I got to look at every day. Whew. No, I'm kidding. They're great. So the U.S. sales team is here, and they're hanging out with us for a couple of days. They're doing some sales training because hired a couple of guys that kind of all getting on the same page as to expectations and how it all goes. When you are a remote employee and you're representing a company, but you have multiple people on your team that are all remote, you got to get together and make sure that your message is the same and everybody understands where you're at on stuff. So that's what they're doing here. And then they will hang out with us for a day or two and then be on their way on Thursday back in their respective zones later on. So good stuff. Glad to have them around. And I will just run the show for about an hour. We'll just go for a couple more minutes here and then finish up. So thanks for coming by, everybody. Hey, from earlier, new play firmware is looking great. Glad to hear it. Let us know what you find out. Of course, by all means, send over an email to help@birddog.tv because that would be super helpful, whatever you find. If you want that firmware, you're looking for it, if you have a play, and you feel free to reach out to help@birddog, and we can give you a hand. A ton of people over the weekend subscribed, and I mean like a ton, but subscribed to the YouTube channel, this one, birddogjohn.tv. And I just want to say thanks. That's super helpful that you did that. And I'm flattered that people want to come along for that ride. So Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't done so already, birddogjohn.tv. That is the YouTube page. Everything I do for support here in this studio gets done. So that's where this show is generally live. Always be there. Other places as well. Twitch, the Bird Dog YouTube page, Facebook page, LinkedIn. But birddogjohn.tv, that's where we're hanging out. And if you want to follow along, feel free to subscribe to that channel. And we will be happy to have you come along for the... And then you can set up the notifications however you want to be notified. YouTube has push notifications and whatever. So if you want to stay in tune with what we're up to, we do go live twice a week. Tuesday, Thursdays, 11 to 12 Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Time here in the U.S. So feel free to join us. Hey, I've changed the first two P200s to multicast to navigate through the Ruckus switches. Is there anything the school IT guy needs or may want to change in the Ruckus? The question I have is, do they go into the switches or are they trunked? Because, oh yeah, I forgot you had those Ruckus ones in there. That might be what's going on here, is that those Ruckus ones are performing QoS on them, on those ports. And basically bringing everything to a screeching halt. So the IT department should make those ports that are between your 4350 and your 4250 basically trunk ports, VLAN trunk ports, so that all the VLAN traffic can pass between them from source to destination. Okay, so you're going to have, if you could trunk those ports all together, because you don't want that data to get scanned. You don't want it to get inspected or whatever. You just want it to go from the source to the destination without any sort of interruption. So if they could trunk those ports, that would be ideal. Because like a true trunk, get them worked out, then that would be awesome. They've been very NDI friendly as far as I can tell. Well, that's good. Make sure QoS is off at least on those Ruckus ports that you're utilizing. Hopefully they're like VLAN so that it's isolated. But that sounds, if you're going into other switches, it sounds like QoS is maybe on. But hey, thanks for the info. Appreciate it. Oh, my pleasure, MTash. Always fun to have you on the show. You've always got lots of good technical questions to ask. So guys like you and Fritz, Angus, always a pleasure to have around. We've been missing some of our regulars. It's amazing that CJ is, or was, here. He probably still is, but it's amazing he's awake because he's usually fast asleep. Let's see, Melbourne? It would be, 2 a.m. in Melbourne right now, so good golly. It's been weird because my kids are off to school now. And my wife is working a couple of jobs, and my life at home has been busy, and life at the office has been busy. We've been kind of gearing up for our special guests to arrive here for the past few days, and been organizing offices and throwing stuff away, which has been great. But it's going to be a busy end of the year. That's going to be good. So pretty excited about that. I am going away. I'll throw this out there. I'm going away on Saturday to Sunday again this weekend. Headed down to Nashville to give some more help to some folks that I work with down there. And so I'll be away for the weekend, but hopefully should be back on Monday. And this program will continue as planned, Tuesday, Thursday. So we will plan to go again on Thursday for sure. But, look who it is. I know who this is. Ouch, CJ. Dedication, listening to John at 2 a.m. You know what it is? This is BirdDog Phil, by the way. You know what it is? I think he tuned in to maybe like as a sleeping aid, like trying to wind down for the day, and he's having trouble sleeping. And so just listening to BirdDog John's voice on that RE20 EV microphone, helping him lull himself to sleep. That's probably what it is. Now, Phil, you're getting ready for IBC, right? So have you flown over to Amsterdam yet? Are you there? And what's going on? Because if you are going to IBC this year, which unfortunately I am not, but if you are, you might see Phil there. And so Phil's I'm trying out trying out a new nightcap Phil is currently sitting at the airport now. That's awesome. So Jake's already there, right? And so you'll get to hang out with him, which super jealous because Jake's also a great dude. So that'll be great. Hope you guys have a great show. Enjoy yourselves over there in Amsterdam, and yeah, have some fun. We should try and connect. Depending on Flores, we try and connect on Thursday, just to bring you guys in, have you guys hang out with us. So maybe I'll shoot Jake a message and see if he could arrange something. The show then starts this weekend, right? So bring this back here. IBC Amsterdam 2023. I thought it fired up on like Friday or something. ibc.org. Get ready. Doors open on Friday. So yeah, it'll be the day before that you guys go live. So that'd be great. Yep, Jake and Dan are already in Amsterdam. Fantastic. We'll have a good one. That'll be fun. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a great time over there. It's just a few days, so if you're close to IBC, be sure to go check out the stand and go and say hi to Dan and Phil and Jake and the whole team that's over there. That'll be great. Very good, everybody. Okay, well, I haven't heard the sales guys come back yet. However, it is noon, which means that there's a good chance that they are going to get lunch. So there's a good chance that's what's going on. I have a few. Okay, so yeah, I have several things kind of mapped out, and I'm watching the show. Looks like the sales guys are headed out to lunch in about 20 minutes or so. So all good. Really thankful you guys have come along for the trip. I have some things to iron out here, but I got the audio stuff working thanks to CJ and people on the show. So thank you for that. And let's take a quick little look over at our map. There's a little heat map hanging out. That is pretty cool. There's a lot of people hanging out from all over the world watching the show, and it's always fun to bring you guys along. So thanks for spending time with us today. Always a pleasure. And as always, here on the show, we like to answer NDI questions and talk about products and how things work. And if you have questions, like today's question, do IR remotes come with cameras? We found out so far, yes, with all the cameras, they do seem. Now, I don't think there is a IR remote with PF120, now that I think of it. But I think the rest of them have one. All the ones that have like PTZ function should have a remote. Minus the A300, A200 for that matter. I don't think they have one, although it's been a long time since I've seen a brand new one of those in a box. At the support office, we get the ones that aren't working, not the ones that are. So we don't get to have the unboxing experience too often with new products. But hey, if a question comes up between now and Thursday, and it can't wait, feel free to email my team at help@birddog.tv. These guys sit and work at the help desk all the time for every day of the week. Okay, so 5 days a week, they are answering tickets. If you have a question or something comes up between now and Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, then be sure to shoot us an email at help@birddog.tv, and my team can give you a hand there. We'd be happy to answer any tickets. These guys seriously keep the queue really tidy, and so they will respond to you. We don't sweep things under the rug. We don't ignore tickets. They will respond to you and get back to you. So please, please, please email us if you have problems or a question. The support guys can help you out there. A couple of comments here. The A series do not have IR remotes. So there you go. A200, A300. Don't know also if you talked about Cloud 9.6 video or update drop. So we didn't talk about that. Let's do that on Thursday. Maybe we could convince Jake to spend 20 minutes with us. I got the video, so I will run that video on before Thursday's show. So on Thursday, I'll put it up in StreamYard right away. On Thursday, we'll talk about the drop for Cloud 9.6. Thank you for that reminder, CJ, and we'll go over that in a little more detail. Hey, Paul, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. Always a pleasure to have you over on LinkedIn. We do try to keep things tidy. It's true. Senseless and his team, they do a really good job, and always great. Randy, hello from Winnipeg. I've been away playing with 10,000s of RG6 8 4250 switches for Dante and NDI, my P200s, P100 EOG. Hey, thanks for your live stream. It's been so helpful as I planned our setup. I want to add NDI multi-viewer and BirdDog Play, hopefully soon. That'd be great. Yeah, keep us posted as to how that's going, Randy. And thanks for saying something nice about the stream. That's always helpful. It's always good to know somebody's benefiting. So that's when you're asking questions and things like that, you don't know who's listening and who's watching in the background. It's a double-edged sword. But there are more than likely, if you have an NDI question, other people have that question too. So please ask it. I'm happy to create content, happy to repeat the same thing I've talked about 11 bajillion times. All good. If you have that question, somebody else likely has it. And if it's a reoccurring one, I'll chop it up and put it on as a separate video on the BirdDog John channel. Okay, so please bring your questions. Please bring them. And if I don't know the answer, I won't tell you a lie. I will go and try and find out. So the IR remote, I wasn't 100% sure about a bunch of those. Well, the A-Series does not. The PF120 I don't think does, and I think the rest of them do now. Sales jumped in, and Fritz jumped in and got us some answers. So that's the point, is we're a community learning from each other. I don't know all the answers. Happy to talk about it. If you want to talk networking, we can do that. If you want to talk about products, we can do that. If you want a product demo, just say so or leave a comment on the YouTube video that you see on the channel and say, hey, it would be great. On any video, by the way, on the YouTube channel, on the BirdDog John site, if you leave a comment on any video on there, I get a notification saying somebody left a comment. And then I can definitely check it out and see what is the question, or, hey, I'd really like more information on the P110 or whatever, right? If you do that, I'll see it and I can make a show about it. If I've got stuff to say about it, by all means. We also go down the road of audio. We go down the road of, vMix settings, for example. Today we talked about that with CJ a bit. Yeah, there's lots to talk about. So definitely let me know what you'd like to explore and we can go over that in more detail. That's what this show is for. All right. And I'm happy to talk for hours if you want me to, but we try and go for an hour. And if I've got content on Thursday, we will talk about the 9.6 cloud update that just went live about 10 hours ago. And so let's, I'll run that video first thing on Thursday and we'll talk about it. So that would be great. All right, folks, in the meantime, I'm going to get back to work and figure out where the sales guys are going. And yeah, we'll hang out. We'll keep chatting. We'll see you again on Thursday. Plan to join us. Also plan to subscribe over at birddogjohn.tv. That would be super helpful if you would do that. Lots of you have already done that. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Last time I checked, which was last night, we were at 319. And so we watch it. Somebody will have left. We are at 319. Still at 319. So we didn't lose anybody. That's good news. So 319 people have clicked that subscribe button. That blows my mind. So thank you, everybody. That really means a lot. Appreciate that. And you can customize your notification settings. You can turn them off if you want. Just have it in the list on the left, and that's all. Totally cool. Yeah, really good stuff. So thanks for playing along, everybody. I always appreciate it. And I'm going to kill this and go here and show the final check-ins. Look at all this. Got people from all over the place. Somebody over in New Zealand, a couple of folks in Australia. We've got somebody in Africa and the UK, down in South America, and a handful of yous in the United States. And Angus did not check in from Edmonton, but we know he's up there too. So really cool, guys. Thank you so much for playing along. Always a pleasure to be with you. Take care of yourselves as we venture on here. But definitely take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. It's always important. There's not a whole lot of that going on, so you definitely need to do that. But yeah, watch out for each other, and we'll see you on Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern Time right here on the BirdDogJohn.tv live support show. Bring your questions and your knowledge, and we'll learn from each other. Take care, guys. It's been fun. Bye.
That's a problem for future Homer. Man, I don't envy that guy.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.